Hi, this is Scott. Welcome back to another Hollinger Team video blog. This blog is one we do every year after the 8 MLSs throughout the state of Montana have put in their year-end results, and it's compiled by the Montana Association of Realtors and then gets sent out to all of us to look at and kind of glean some information. So I thought what I'd do, typically in the past, I've gone east to west, but I thought this time I'm going to mix it up a little bit for a reason, and we'll talk about that a little bit at the end. But first off, we start off in the Butte-Anaconda area there, and I'm going to go literally with kind of the highlights there. They had single-family sales were up 25%, so that was pretty good, and the median price was also up 2.5%. So good things going on in that area. They have pretty steady average days on the market. On the condo side, it was just too small to draw any kind of conclusions. So they did double in sales from 5 to 10, but really nothing there to share statistically. And also the same thing with townhomes. So very, very few transactions there. There just apparently aren't that many in those towns to use. So then we go on to Great Falls, pretty much the center of the state. They had single family sales were up 3%, and so pretty good steady price range there. And median price has gone up 7% to $332,000. I didn't mention that on the residential side in Butte, and that was $287,000. So up a little bit more in Great Falls at $332,000 for a home. Condos were up 28% in the number of sales, which is a good increase, and the price was up 5%, and actually a pretty substantial increase in the number of days on market. So maybe it shows a little bit that the inventory is dwindling down a little bit. Townhomes average sales price was up quite a bit and 12%, but the number of transactions was down. But the interesting thing there was the days on market. They must have gone from a whole bunch for sale to almost nothing. So interesting there in Great Falls. Back over east to Billings. Billings had an average sales price of $383,000 on their homes there. The sales were down 24%, so fewer transactions. And you can see on the days in the market that did increase a little bit also. The condo market, those were down 15%, just kind of like home sales. And the median price had increased 15%. So maybe a little bit of a representation of fewer homes for sale in the Billings area there, fewer to select for, and a little bit of price increase, but a few more days on the market there too. So I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe Billings is just slowing down. The townhomes there had a total sales that were down 15%. But the prices were up about 3%, and the days on market increased a little bit also. So Billings seems to be showing a little bit of a slowing trend, and we'll see how that evolves. Then we go back west to the state capital, Helena. Single family homes, the total number of transactions basically didn't change at all, which was kind of interesting, and really not a huge price in the average sales price there. So kind of a steady market, no real huge increase in the days on market. So Helena appears to just be kind of chugging along, doing fine. Their condos are up 22% in the number of sales. So I've read some things here and there about a lot of buyers moving towards condos and townhomes. So maybe this is a little representation of that. But the price virtually had really not changed much, and the days of market hasn't changed that much either. The townhome sales, again, back to that trending going maybe towards that, it jumped quite a bit. And price stayed pretty steady, and the days on market stayed pretty steady on townhomes in Helena. Then we go a little bit further west to Missoula. Median sales price is $605,000, so pretty substantial jump in. And the median price actually did go up a little bit, and although the number of transactions stayed pretty steady, and the days on market stayed pretty steady. The condo market there has really kind of stayed steady too. No real change on either the number of transactions or the price. The one thing that did change there was the days on market dropped by about half. So again, maybe a little bit of that trending towards the condominium and townhome market. Townhome sales in Missoula were up 16%, but the median price had gone down some. So maybe there's just a real push in that market, and maybe creation of more townhomes for sale. And days on market really went down a little bit, but not a huge amount. Then we go down south of Missoula to the Bitterroot Valley, which is Hamilton, Stevensville, and down into Darby and areas like that. It has become quite the bedroom community to Missoula. Average sales price for the homes in the Valley County, which is the Bitterroot Valley, is $605,000. The number of transactions stayed pretty steady, and so did the days on market. No real change there, so not a whole bunch there. And when we look at condominiums in the Bitterroot, we see them, the number of sales had gone up quite a bit, doubled. Not huge numbers of transactions, but it doubled. The days on market did almost double also, and the price stayed pretty steady. So just an interesting dynamic to that bedroom area to Missoula. And then the townhomes there, not a whole bunch of townhomes and condominiums in that valley, but they did increase the number of transactions quite a bit. And we did see the price go down a fair amount. So I think there's a little more competition down there, and the days on market did go up. So probably, yeah, just some competition there with townhomes in Valley County and in the Bitterroot Valley. And the Flathead Valley, the median home price in the Flathead now is up to $680,000, huge number. And despite that, we still look at the number of transactions there, it's up 5% to well over 1,000 homes selling in just big numbers. Days on market stayed steady, so it's just kind of a market that's chugging along, embracing where it is economically. If we look at condominiums, the number of condominium sales were down about quite a bit. And I think perhaps it's just because nobody's building condominiums as opposed to like apartment houses right now. Apartment houses might turn into condominiums later on, but right now that's the trend. Prices didn't do well there. They dropped a little bit, and the days on market kind of stayed steady there. Townhomes in the Flathead Valley, we saw a pretty good increase in the number of transactions there by almost a 20% increase, but prices had gone down quite a bit, 20% drop in price. So it maybe some competition there, that for those that are available, that there's a little bit more trying to get those sold. And the days on market dropped quite a bit too. So it might be just a trend there that we'll see how that evolves. Quarterly reports from the Flathead. And last but not least is Bozeman area, which now is the whole Gallatin Valley there. And so it's kind of growing into other smaller parts of the communities that are kind of morphing into Bozeman. They had quite a few home sales there also, and it stayed pretty steady. The price was up a little bit, but here's the real stunner. And median home price in Bozeman is $810,000, and to think that there's over 1,000 that have sold in that category that's holding prices like that is pretty amazing. Days on market actually dropped down to 25 days. So, when the prices are what they are and the days on market are what they are, it's a red hot market. The sales were down a little bit. I would guess it's probably just lack of inventory and maybe more people moving into homes or things like that. Prices stayed pretty steady, and the days on market stayed pretty steady there too. Townhomes, which seems to be a little bit more of an attractive thing than condominiums overall. The townhome sales were up 15%, and the price was up 15%, and the days in the market dropped down a little bit. And I think what that's showing is just kind of what is happening in a very, very strong, robust market. Anyhow, thank you for viewing the Hollinger Team video blog. Please like this podcast. Please subscribe and send it on to your friends. We'll be giving you our next video blog, which will be the first quarter update for the Flathead Valley waterfront.